somebody. If you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. Come on, make me believe what you're saying.
Can we waken this up a little?
Well, yeah, if you can.
Okay. Yeah. If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention.
Wait a minute.
Hey, this is Jennifer blogging for Social Justice, and this week we were asked to consider how our specific content areas can contribute to social justice work. Not only do I believe that understanding how social justice practices can be applied within the context of our classrooms, I also believe that it is crucial for educators to begin to encourage their students to not only see, but also to become agents for change. So where do we start? Here it is broken down into 3 simple parts. Part 1. What we have learned so far about social justice. So let's begin by considering social justice as one large umbrella. The foundational structure of this umbrella, its frame so to speak, revolves around the principles of equality and solidarity, a valuing of human rights, and the recognition of the dignity of every human being. Falling under this large umbrella are various issues, including race, class, ability, gender, sexual preference, diversity, economic inequality, health inequality, language and power struggles, and even appearance. Social justice can also include issues related to the welfare of our environment. So to begin teaching towards social justice, educators must begin to look towards promoting socioeconomic equality within the learning environment, and to pass such values on to their students. In doing so, we begin to create a sense of unity within our schools that can spread into our communities, and further into the world. If we look for inspiration from theorists such as Paulo Freire, John Dewey, and Vygotsky, then perhaps we will understand that education, geared towards the betterment of all individuals, can occur once we take our own action. We all need to work towards creating positive learning environments in which individuals recognize their oppressions and take an active role in constructing their futures. So with this very basic and rudimentary review of social justice, we move into the second part of our discussion. Part 2. Incorporating social justice practices into the English classroom and curriculum. When we think of how an English classroom is constructed, some may say that incorporating social justice practices and theories should be a cinch. Provide students with fiction and nonfiction texts that discuss issues falling under our social justice umbrella. Well, they would be wrong. If we limit our students' learning capabilities to simply reading texts and responding to them through teacher-generated questions, then more often than not ask for facts rather than providing an in-depth discussion about the text, then we begin to deny our students the proper understanding of how their society operates. As a rule of thumb, education is a reciprocal process in which everyone, students, teachers, administrators, parents, and the community, have the potential to both be the learner and the teacher. From a literary perspective, it is essential that we read and write to transform lives. As critical thinkers, we must enhance our skills of approaching life's challenges from various perspectives, of recognizing that right and wrong answers do not always exist, and discovering that the potential for change is present in every small opportunity presented to us. By invoking critical literacy into our curriculums, we begin to challenge the status quo. We begin to appreciate and build upon a student's individual talents. And most importantly, we begin to disrupt socially constructed and accepted concepts. So, to begin to teach English from a social justice perspective, it is important to recognize how language operates as a social construct and what exactly an English educator who values social justice practices in their classroom teaches towards on a daily basis. You want to teach English because you want to prepare critically inactive citizens in a political world dedicated to the principles of social justice. Writing in your class will focus on training students to question and examine their worlds and construct their own interpretations. Language will be a social instrument by which we grow in critical understanding of the self and the world of which we are a part of. In the classroom, literature instruction will be used as a vehicle to disrupt common notions of race, class, gender, and sexuality. Sociopolitical issues will not be ignored, but addressed, as will the interrogation of multiple viewpoints. Everyone is entitled to their own voice and their own opinion. Students will be evaluated by performance assessments that emphasize community-based research projects, aka service learning, and other forms of social action research and student-based learning. English instruction should offset inequalities and inequities and be conscious of power relationships in student cultures. Piaget once said that disequilibrium is the first step towards growth. So as English educators, we should become disequilibrators in our own classrooms. We need to have our students questioning everything. So now this brings us to part 3. Encouraging students to become agents of change. To move students towards adopting social justice attitudes, English educators can turn to service learning units that are of interest to their students. Engaging students can be simple once we begin to listen to what they are most passionate about. Students must understand that what they are learning in the English classroom can be aptly applied to their own lives and the lives of individuals around the world. When approaching a particular unit in English, it is important to incorporate meaningful community service with instruction and reflection to enrich the learning experience, teach civic responsibility, and strengthen our communities. As a means of social justice in practice, in the classroom and in society, service learning takes what is being learned in our schools and is applied to solving real-life problems. Students not only study the content knowledge of a particular subject, but they utilize such knowledge to become actively contributing citizens and community members through the various services that they perform. The changes and actions that are being made by the students do not have to be large-scale projects, but can involve issues they encounter on a day-to-day basis. Once students approach the learning experience with an open mind, checking their assumptions and preconceived notions at the door, then the real learning can begin. With the proper resources at their disposal, the limits for students becoming agents of change will continue beyond the classroom years. So what have we come to learn here today? Opportunities to involve our students in acts of social justice surround us every day. Find something that truly grasps the attention of your students. The more passionate they are about the change they are bringing about, the more they will learn and grow as individuals, let alone how motivated they will be. Literature with social justice themes are merely stepping stones to encouraging a change in our students and a change in our communities. Make it relatable. If students see how the issues can be applied to their personal experiences, they will invest more time to see what can be done for others and for themselves. We have the power to change the world in our hands. If one student becomes an agent for change, then they can pass their knowledge and experience on to 2 others, and then to 4 others, until the numbers infinitely grow. Change starts small and quickly spreads like wildfire that builds rather than destroys. Be the change you want to see in your students, and they will become the change necessary for our world. This has been Jennifer blogging for social justice. Go on, be the change.
If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. Come on, make me believe what you're saying.
Can we wake this up a little?
Well, yeah, if you think you can.
Yeah. If you wanna be somebody.